book, story of my life.
Yes, and hard-earned book as well. That's all.
Both of my parents were not well. My dad had post-traumatic stress disorder from serving in World War II. And back then they didn't know, so they would send the person home thinking that if they took them out of the situation, they would get well just by virtue of not being, and we know nowadays as there's more and more stuff with PTSD that isn't actually even the case, because we didn't have any of that indoor plumbing thing. Woo! I now have a toilet in my house. I'm already, a million times better off. I'm just saying, it's all relative where you come from, right?
Yeah.
And, just so people understand, a frock to me is a costume or it's armor. It's something we put on, and it could be against beliefs or attitudes or what have you. In my case, it was for all things, whether it was physical. People that were supposed to be were touted as the best foster parents in Penticton. And I knew the feeling as we pulled up to that house was so dark. I would say that I'm somewhat intuitive, but only with myself and with people really close to me. Mm-hmm. And I've had to be to stay alive, to be quick. The police tell me they now believe my story. And the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, why? Why do you believe me? You don't believe me now because I have a little girl. You didn't come to give me flowers. What's going on? Do you know Cindy and Susan Duff? Well, of course I know them. I went to school with with Cindy. And he said, he has killed Susan. And if I had not been sitting, hon, that would have been, I would have, everything, every part of me, even to this day, I've resolved that it is not my fault. But for the longest time, I just thought if I had just yelled louder, Susan would be alive. If I had said, listen to me, I might be from the wrong side of the tracks. I might be from Wackadoodle. I might be from Crazyville. I might look like a lot of things, but I'm a good student. I'm a good daughter. I'm all those things. And yet here you are discounting me for this one person who it turns out had assaulted every girl that came through their home. Right? And some more extreme than others, and his wife would just turn up the music so she didn't have to hear them screaming when he was raping them. It was horrific what happened.
I get where you're coming from, that feeling of if I could have, if it was meant, if it was your path, it would have happened. Just to put it in perspective, the importance of speaking out, the importance of if those, maybe hindsight as an adult now, you can look back and say, well, if you were advising somebody, maybe you would say to them, look, if those policemen don't listen to you, find another one. If that teacher doesn't, find someone to advocate for you. Is that what you would recommend at this point?
I would, and our system is still so broken, and this isn't a slam against law enforcement, because I have family that are in law enforcement, like my in-laws are, and so there's no ill intent, or is there any ill intent towards anyone in social services, because there's a couple of things that you already touched on. It was a different time. There wasn't the mechanisms. Mental illness was still stigma. There's still stigma, let's be honest. It's better. I think we spend way too much time on the perpetrator and not enough on the voices of those who've been lost.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at my baby, and I'm looking at a picture of Susan that they brought me from the newspaper. And I'm thinking, when he says to me, will you stand for her? Well, of course I said yes. I do think most people would say yes, given the circumstance I was sitting in that very moment.
Right.
Had you told me what that looked like, I'd love to tell you I'm that altruistic. I'm not. Had you told me what that would mean to me for the remainder of the time he was alive, I would have went, I don't know if I can do this. Because honest to goodness, living in constant fear, never knowing if he was going to find me. It was not. It was hard. It was hard, and it was heartbreaking. Yes, all the crap I had gone through as a child was rough. And it was rough.
But living in fear all the time that this person was going to actually find you because you believed that he was going to try to...
Well, he did try several times, and you're right. And he killed someone I knew.
Yeah.
And he told me he would kill people. Is for people that don't make it, they're not making it. What's happening for them is they're stuck in the story, some of them. The other thing that happens is that they turn to substance to self-medicate. And that is the most dangerous of all, right? Because we get lost in the story then. Because back to number one in terms of our own lives and touching our own people. Okay, so what I found is so many people got stuck, and around 35, people start to wake up and go, what else is there? Is this it? I want more than this. This can't be it. Surely to goodness there's more than this. So we started doing these events called Frockalicious. Okay, so we're doing one in March in Vancouver. And so anybody listening or watching this from Alberta or Winnipeg, anywhere east of really Vancouver.
Or you know what, if you're in Australia and you want to come to Canada, this is where it's at.
This is the best. Quite a few of the women are entrepreneurs, or they're budding entrepreneurs, or they've thought about becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so give them, we're the catalyst maybe to help them make that leap, or to, continue doing what you're doing, 9 to 5 kind of thing, and then adding this on, and to get them living that life. So, and we only get so many sunsets and sunrises. And it sounds cliche, but the truth is when you're laying there and it's it, there's no second chance then. We need to do, and I'm so passionate about this because I see so many people hurting. That's how it works. Something twigs in them when they come to our live events and they read the book. Something happens in them and it opens up their soul to do. And it's not woo-woo. You're destined for bigger things than what we're doing. And the other thing is, look at what you're doing right now. But you have to keep evolving. All the time you evolve, and you emote something different so that we can be that change. We're not going to be it if we just go, isn't this sad? Also, that we can be that change. I can't do this by myself. I'm very well aware that, by what you're doing, and then somebody else is and somebody's going to see this and they're going to share it with someone, and we're going to have a conversation.
Yes.
Just one real conversation a day. If that's how we start, just one. That is what changes. That's what changed my life. Just one.
.com, and listen to the replays from the show page, preview guests, and explore links to our Facebook fan page, WordPress blog, and more. We are creating an exquisite world. Until next time, take care.